right, so coming to you live again from DCENTRAL, we're going to be doing a ton of deep dives, not only NFTs, but gaming, all that good stuff. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back on the Tech Path. Let's get in it today. And of course, gaming is one of the biggest topics. Joining me today is Ian Bentley and Scott Herman, both from WAGMI Games. So great to have you guys.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, so it's Ian, right?
It's Ian.
Yeah, all right. Ian, let's get into it a little bit. But first of all, WAGMI, you guys, we're talking on camera. We kind of dove into a little bit about what you guys are doing. Some of the unique things that you guys bring to the gaming industry. When you look at a lot of the games over the last year, so much innovation, a lot of that runway is starting to peter out. Okay, so we're seeing game companies start to drop, slow their development. What makes you guys a little different?
So what's interesting about our project is we're trying to keep it simple, stupid, right? It's not trying to over-inundate people with NFTs and tokenomics and all the things that do go into what basically, has been the issue with trying to get to the mainstream.
Right.
So our entire goal here is just mass adoption. We're focused on the 97% of people that are not in crypto as opposed to the 3% that are in crypto.
Right.
And one of the things that we're looking to do is there's actually multiple things, but the first thing is mobile. Most games are completely sleeping on the fact that most of the commerce happening in gaming is in mobile.
Do you think that really?
Well, it's proven. 52% of the $203 billion
are still PC oriented.
No.
Now you're thinking. Okay, now let me make sure I understand. You're talking about traditional gaming industry,
Right.
not blockchain, because blockchain seems to be leaning a little bit more mobile.
Well, it's not. Most of them are the PC or trying to do the Metaverse or the first-person shooter games or trying to make this big spectacle, which, kudos to all the founders that are going
That's
after
going to be a
this.
huge market. The mobile is by far.
is where it's at.
Well, and it's global. You can
100%.
get into countries that really are leapfrogging over tech, such as desktop.
Yep.
And in many cases, don't have infrastructure for broadband. So,
Correct.
wireless is a huge part of
So
that.
as long as they have the phone that can download the actual game itself, then the game is playable as long as they have some sort of...
Scott, you mentioned onboarding. So this is a big problem right now in the industry, that you have companies that are kind of half and half, trying to do crypto and fiat. It's a little confusing. There's a MoonPay connection. There's all these different little loops that you're going through. What is it that you guys are trying to do?
So basically, as soon as you create an extra step, you've already lost the majority of traditional gamers.
Right.
They just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So when you play a game on your phone, for example, you download the game, you log in with one of your social accounts, like your Discord or your Google or Facebook or your Apple, whatever. You log in, you start to play the game immediately. We needed to adopt that model, because if we can adopt that same model and get a traditional gamer to download our game, log in the same way, and immediately go into the tutorial to learn how to play the game and see if they like it, we can obviously bring them in as a player. Now, the way our structure is the same way. They download, they start to play, they go through our tutorial, learn how the game mechanics work, and then by the end of the tutorial, they can have a choice. They can continue to play for free on a limited version of the game, or they can buy a starter pack of either alien cards or human cards and then start to play the full version of the game. Still haven't told them those are NFTs yet. Get them already to enjoy the game and then educate them. Oh, by the way, did you know that those are called NFTs, but all that means is you own those.
But here's the cool thing about the onboarding process. So when somebody does create an account, we set up a custodial wallet on their behalf. So every single person that creates an account has a WAGMI wallet.
So it's automatic.
Automatic.
When they come in.
If they're in crypto or not in crypto, it doesn't matter.
That is, to me, that's going to be the killer app, because the problem is the wallet mechanism that is so difficult for most people that are not in crypto or not in NFTs to really understand. First, grasp. Secondly, is they figure out how to use it and then try to move stuff around in between. I think that's a big leap for you guys. So, all right. So let's talk about distribution now, because that's another big problem. You look at most games. The typical distribution, they drop their Discord, they get a Twitter account, community starts up, maybe they get in on an early listing on one of the the listing sites, whether it's CoinGecko, etc. Maybe Play NFT covers it, whatever it is that kind of gets that going. There are these monster distribution points that nobody's really in yet, and those are the app stores. You've got all of that. Resident tech level gamers in most cases tied to credit cards. How are you guys addressing
Yeah, really simple. So one of the reasons why we pivoted from a browser-based crypto game to going on the App Store was because of the KPIs and the cost per download. We can actually, because we come from a marketing background, we understand internet marketing, we understand KPIs, we understand everything A to Z. In fact, Google is looking to utilize our project as a case study on how to actually be able to advertise on Google for people that are in Web3 and NFT games. So that being said, what we wanted to do is just make sure that it was just a seamless process and keep it as simple as possible.
How do you get away from Apple's kind of stranglehold on the gaming industry, but also on the app ecosystem? This 30% creator share that they're siphoning.
I like that question because
what's the angle?
We already just took that into account when we were doing our sales projections.
Right, so you're just building it into the pipe.
Yeah, so we were just
so you're like, hey, this is part of the overhead.
Yeah.
That's marketing. It's just now longer, consider it that way.
Why? Because we're in Web3 or crypto or anything like that, do we feel entitled that we don't pay 30%?
Well, Epic would probably kind of charge you.
Epic,
Challenge you.
Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, they're all 30%.
Yeah.
All of them. It's the same.
Yeah.
I think YouTube takes 45%.
I thought it was more.
Oh no, 50. No, we get 45.
Yeah.
They get 55.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a little bit deeper cut. Well, it's the platform out there. I want to show the website. So you guys done some great art renditions here. Is this all in house?
So we have our CGO Lewis. It's all in his brain. He's come up with all the original IP, and we actually have a partnership with a game development company that actually helps with all the graphics in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I was just showing the coming soon to App Store, Google Play, powered obviously on Immutable-X,
Yes.
and then GameStop coming on NFT. Is that going to be tied? How is that partnership going to work?
Yeah, it's interesting because most gamers are used to paying $60 for a game and taking it to GameStop and they get $5. Right?
Yeah.
Instead, the way our entire philosophy with the messaging that we're going to have is, hey, we're reversing it for you. Now you can pay $5 for an in-game asset, level it up, and go back to GameStop, and they'll give you $60.
There
right?
you go.
And then we look at it like GameStop NFT marketplace. It's almost like the eBay of the supply and demand
That's
for
interesting.
actually
That's a
the
good
gaming
angle.
assets. And that's how we're looking at this.
Yeah.
It's a sustainable economy of a supply and demand in which players actually own the stuff that they bought in the game. It's really simple.
Yeah.
And it's going to go one step further too, Paul. As soon as gamers start to realize, because most traditional gamers, they're so afraid to mention words like NFTs or crypto, because they know that their chat section is going to be filled with "you're a scammer," it's this, that, and the other thing, right? But with the way that we're building our platform, literally you shill your bag by telling people to download a fun game to play. Because you're already making microtransactions in any game on your mobile phone. I was playing a game this morning. I spent $40 buying some in-game currency. I was waiting for Ian to, come out of his hotel room. I was like, I'm going to do some summons on this game real quick. $40, gone like that, right?
Interesting.
Now, when it comes to people on YouTube and streamers, which is going to be a big play for us, if you're playing the game and you have 5 characters and you're leveling them up, okay, so the max level is 10. Let's say they're all level 4.
Yeah.
And a new character comes out. Once gamers understand, instead of spending 4 or 5 hours leveling that character up with my time, I can just go buy a level 4, put them on my team, and then continue to make my content, or just continue to play the game and already have that character usable with my other characters.
Yeah, and you mentioned something there I think that's important is that level of getting, the normal gamers to really start to understand and embrace what's happening here in Web3 is the potential for streamers to really take on and become a big part of this ecosystem.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we're seeing a little bit of it, but it hasn't really blown up yet.
Well, what's so funny is I was just speaking to your earlier guest that was here. I think his name was Steve.
Yeah.
Right. And he said he used to play a lot of Destiny, and I used to too. And we both stopped for the same reason. We don't have time to grind and get all the weapons you need for the raids.
Yeah.
I'd spend $20 and buy one, and I would still be playing the game.
Becoming amped.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things also that a lot of the people who started in GameFi miss the mark on is nobody cares about the technology.
Yeah.
The NFT, the three-letter bad word, nobody cares about it. I mean, we're just talking about Lisa about putting chicken nuggets into an air fryer versus a microwave and how amazing juicy they are. Well, does she care about the technology of an air fryer?
Nobody.
No, it's all about the end unit and can I get those chicken nuggets that are incredibly juicy? Nobody cares about what
You just want the ice.
Yeah, and that's been the argument we've made on the show a lot. That when you look at the aspect of major leaps forward in terms of adoption, it's going to be in a facility that enables a lot of people that have no idea or understanding what's going on to be able to participate. Once they feel like they can, this starts to change the dynamic very quickly. Last question to you guys. You look at gaming as it is right now, a lot of pushback from traditional gamers. You look, and that's both from the developers, the studios, as well as the gamers themselves.
Yeah.
They look, and then you have this contingent over here on Web3, like you guys, that don't forget, smash the like button. That are
And click the notification bell.
yeah. They're kind of stuck in this scenario of they're trying to build on a very nascent industry in a very precarious time because of the bear market. You've got scenarios like that playing out. When do you think we'll see traditional studios and gamers start to say, all right, this is the
I think that when the games come out that don't require crypto, is exactly what we're doing.
That's the key.
We're hoping that we are the beacon and the actual case study on how we can get mass adoption there. And it really just comes down to you don't have to have a wallet, you don't have to have crypto, but guess what? You can still have your NFTs and have ownership.
Yep.
Don't call them NFTs or in-game assets that you own. And guess what? When you're ready, no problem. We'll explain to you how to buy a little crypto. We'll explain to you how to put this onto a marketplace.
Listen, the game companies do this already. They're doing it through the kind of acquisitions within the game themselves. They're fostering up a whole generation of Gen Zs, really trying to create their own marketplaces, which is, I think, a really smart way to go. But I think the key thing with you guys, the fact that you've got a fiat system, to me is huge. In the distribution model, if this works with the Play Store and the Apple iTunes and the just the App Store itself, this could be huge for where you guys are going.
I think there's a lot of pushback. So I'm a big Call of Duty player, right? And the new Call of Duty just came out, Modern Warfare 2.
Yep.
All my guns are back to zero. I was just in Brazil for 8 days. Now we're here at this convention. Obviously, we're building our game. My friends, my squad, they want to play. All my guns are trash, right? So I think that when traditional games start to see that games like ours, you now have interoperability with those assets. Because we're a franchise. We plan on having multiple games.
Okay.
I, as a gamer, would be more likely to spend more money in a game on assets if I know I can take them from one game to another, even if I don't get all of the stats that that item provides. But if I get some, now I don't feel like I'm just throwing money out the window. And as more gamers start to understand that concept, they're going to think, why would I play this game when the new one comes out? I lose everything when I could play that one.
Perfect example. Yeah, I agree. Ian, Scott, it's been great having you guys. Thanks so much for stopping in. Good to see you guys are in Florida, so I like that. The whole idea of, especially U.S. companies, because I think we've seen so much from all over the world. We just haven't seen a ton of really great game companies come out of the United States yet. So congrats on what you guys are doing. All right, so you guys are staying tuned here for Decentral. We're going to be covering a lot more content, of course. We'll try to bring this to you as quickly as we can. We're hoping that we can drop most of these videos on the day of filming, so make sure and stay tight to the channel right here. Don't forget, make sure and subscribe and hit the like button because it does help not only get kind of the idea of what's happening in Metaverse, Web3, and NFTs out there, but for a lot of people that maybe have not had a chance to really understand the dynamic and this complete technology shift that's occurring. So make sure and share it to somebody you know. All right, we'll see you next time right here on TechBack.